In this example, we're asked to graph the function, and again, if you're starting to catch on with the fact that f of x just means y, all I'm asking you to do is graph y equals 2x plus 1. And on the notes, what I happened to do was make a table of values where I picked x values and calculated y values. And my table shows all of these inputs for the x's from -2 to 2, and all I'm doing is putting -2 in. -2 times 2 is -4 plus 1 is -3, and -1 for that input. -1 times 2 is -2 plus 1 is -1. Putting in 0, 2 times 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. Putting in 1, 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And maybe you're remembering what we saw when we looked at tables. If our inputs were jumping consistently and we noticed perhaps a trend, here we're to jump from -3 to -1 we add 2, from -1 to 1 we add 2, from 1 to 3 we add 2. So maybe you're already ahead of the game and you know, oh, that's going to be 5 because I know I'm adding 2. That's awesome. But it wasn't really necessary to make a table to graph this. You could recall that you learned y equals mx plus b in Algebra 1a, where this is the slope of a line and this is the y-intercept of a line. So you could potentially graph this without making a table of values, just setting up an xy coordinate plane and using that concept of slope and y-intercept. So I'm going to try to put a relatively even scale here, just like I'm sure you're doing, and you're not just watching the Terray show, as I never really want you to do. I'd like you to do the problems. So our y-intercept is going to be 1, which is this point right here, and our slope is 2. The slope of 2, remember I told you to think of it as 2 over 1. 2 over 1, so this is the amount you go over. So you go over 1, up 2, over 1, up 2, which would bring us 1 above 4. And if we worked it to the left, we would go 1 to the left, 1 over, and then 2 down. 1 to the left, 2 down. And you can see that that point I just plotted there is 2 to the left, 3 down, which is that point right there. So you could have graphed that function using either slope-intercept or using a table of values. I would hope you would kind of remember this because it's the more efficient way to graph.